Thanks for attending today's How to Solve It. We're going to talk about how we can have you, or actually how you can have your customers to start designing your products using DriveWorks. The first example I want to show you is the Dell website. I don't know how many of you guys have been here. You don't have to raise your hand or anything, but I love this site. Right? You go to the Dell website, you pick a base product, and then you can go through and choose your options. So you see down here, there's a couple examples of, hey, what kind of trusted platform do I want? And they show you all the different options that are available to you. And then on the right, there even shows you how much it would cost. Or if I choose this option, it's going to cost me X dollars. If I choose that option, it's going to choose Y dollars. Really gives you a good chance to get a good understanding, you as a customer, what you're buying. And is this really what I want? And you can kind of play with different options and see how things are, watching your budget price change up here at the very top. Another example that I kind of like is the Xbox. I don't know if you guys have ever been on here to configure your Xbox controller. There's not a whole lot to this, but you as a user, you can go through and choose what color of body you want, colors of bumpers, colors of pads. So the user just picks down here at the bottom, chooses what they're interested in choosing the color, hit go. They see what their total price is as they're working with it. Now they have the ability to see this. So in these first two examples, really there's not much engineering behind either one, right? The decisions are already been made, but the whole point of this is that now the assembly, they get a pick list, assembly goes out and gets those entries, puts them all together, and there's the final product. This is one of our actual customers, and this gets a little bit more complex because there's a little bit of an engineering involved. What they do is they make band heaters. And they want their users to be able to choose different widths of the band or different diameters, different lead lengths, different gauge wire, and certainly how much power goes into to these band heaters. And so this web page kind of steps you through the process. Well, because you chose this option and this option, now you can't choose wire gauge less than 20 because we're putting 1600 watts through the system. And so it actually steps the users through. And the nice thing is when it's done, the user has already made selections. He got the price as he was going through. And again, this doesn't have to go through engineering because the website guided the user through the system. And we know that he's not chosen a configuration that's not possible because those options weren't even available to the user. Now, another neat thing about heat and sensor, since I do know how they work, is when the customer's done, they're actually presented with a nice cut list of here's what you bought, here's a quote, and then on the engineering side, just paperwork comes out, right? Here's the actual engineering drawings sent through. So anything ordered through the system is automatically engineered. Probably many of you guys have seen this, gone into your favorite Home Depot or Lowe's, and they have these configurators all over the place, right? And one of my favorites is the design the deck. You as a user can put in the dimensions that you want, the heights, do you want stairs, do you want handrails, and the user's continually getting feedback about here are the selections that you've made, here's what the cost is going to be. And then at the end, again, just like what heat sensor has, when they're finished, the full bill of materials presented, sometimes even complete with drawings. So I've seen at Lowe's this. There's also a little calculator to figure out how much tile, given the size of a wall, certainly carpet, lots of different neat things out there. So how did they do this? What's going on behind the scene? All four of those examples. Well, the three of the examples, the Dell, the Microsoft, and the Lowe's, I don't know exactly the software that they used, but again, the heat and sensor, what they used was DriveWorks. They used a design configurator, or a CPQ, and CPQ stands for configure price quote. Now, so the nice thing is that DriveWorks is behind the scenes. You as a user, you just think of what kind of rules, what kind of logic, what kind of interface your users are going to see, and then the DriveWorks then continues on and gives that feedback. So you can have it on your home page. It doesn't look like a DriveWorks page, and it all can be presented to them. So I'll show you a couple of real-life DriveWorks examples. Yeah, so again, what you can see here is that they can be shown on anything. Your users can be on a phone, can be on a tablet, and build things up. So here are the examples that I wanted to show you guys. We're going to jump to the DriveWorksLive.com page. This shows you kind of some background of the different types of things that you can do, some nice examples. And then the Configure My Product page will show you that second. And I like this page. It really gives you the ability to imagine what DriveWorks would look like on your company's web page. You can play with it, experiment with it, and you don't have to worry about, it's not a real page, so you don't worry about giving a credit card number or anything like that. You can get an understanding of here are the different types of things that DriveWorks can do for you. So let's go to the DriveWorks Live page first. You can do this at home if you would like to follow along if you want, but here you can see that the nice CPQs. I'll just show you some examples of things that you can do here. They kind of, right here on the main page, they give us the ability to see an example of some of the fun things that you can do. I'm going to show you what we can do with this watch. We'll switch to 2D here first, so it's a little bit faster. You can actually give users the ability to see things in 2 dimensionals or 3. So what would it look like if I choose the band? Imagine you're the customer and you say, well, I kind of like that a little bit, and maybe they want to be able to play with the face color. And so the nice thing is that the users know exactly what they're getting because they were the ones that chose it. They're seeing good, pure feedback as they're making these choices. DriveWorks does give you the ability, because it does have SolidWorks working behind the scenes, to allow your users even to zoom in, zoom out. So imagine your product here. The user has already done some specifications for it. He can decide, is this really what that I think I'm getting here? Another fun example here is this little pump assembly here. A little bit of different interface. Again, you can have lots of different choices about the interfaces, what you want things to look like. The users can pick different things. Now, if it turns out that one of these pumps didn't make any sense, that just simply wouldn't show there. So you have the intelligence in these interfaces to allow the user to only see what they want to be able to choose from. So definitely get on DriveWorksLive.com, play with some of these examples here, and at the very bottom they have a lot of industry examples. Now, many of these aren't full web pages or anything for you to kind of play with, but they're showing you different concepts. Like, what would it look like if I tried to do some 3D concepts here? This play equipment is an interesting one because it actually gives you the ability to show the users 3D entities to scale. So if a user comes up with a combination that's never been thought of before, it actually sends that information to SolidWorks. SolidWorks generates those models, and then presents that image up to the user to see. So we can have some nice static images. We can have real live images that are connected to SolidWorks so users can see exactly what they've been choosing. The other page I want to show you is the ConfigureMyProduct.com. And again, this is very similar to the last page that I showed you, but it's kind of made to pretend like you're a little fictitious company and build things up. They have 4 different things that we can experiment here, and I want to show you first the trailer. I think that's one of the most fun ones to play with. You can always have some nice instructions for the user when they first gets onto the page, certainly help them understand what they're going to be doing. So in this interface, again, lots of pictures. I don't like words in it. I want to make sure that the user understands, hey, if I pick what is a flatbed trailer, what is a curtain side trailer, they can tell just by looking at the picture. Pictures are always worth 1,000 words, right? So now I've chosen just a basic trailer. I'm getting a little preview here. On the left-hand side says, hey, do we want to see a nice image view, or do I want to see a 3D image view? We can give some users some sliders. Well, okay, what would it look like if I choose 1,800, 18,000? Or I could have run the slide itself. So what it's doing, it's going through and regenerating this image so I can see exactly what this looks like with the selections that I've done. Maybe I want to be able to choose the doors. So let's go ahead and pick the door page. Give me a couple different choices. Let's spin this around so we can see what the doors look like. So this is an actual 3D model. Customers really know exactly what they're buying. Right now, the roll shutter is what we're looking at. Let's see what it looks like if we switch to hinge doors. rebuilding my image up, showing me this information as I've gone through. Of course, as we're making choices, you see the price is updating because it's just going through calculations, understanding, well, with these options, here's what it's going to cost. Behind the scenes, DriveWorks is doing all the calculations. It actually knows the full bill of material at this point in time. So this number should be very accurate because the user has already specified what he's looking for. Your customer has done that. So let's pretend I've gone through here, made many different selections for it. I like the rear lights. I think these are kind of neat. Just different pictures. Again, as often as you can, you want your users to be able to do pictures. Also notice the design of this aren't little tiny radio buttons. They're bigger buttons because maybe your customers might be on a tablet or a phone. You want to give a nice interface to the system. You can even have different interfaces depending on what they're looking at. DriveWorks can understand, oh, my screen width is only the width of a phone. So you might give a mobile version versus a full desktop version. So I've gone through, I made my selections. I like this page here. It gives the user one last chance. Hey, here's what you've ordered. Here's exactly all the different choices that you've chosen. Again, the more information you can give your users, the less surprises you're going to get down the road. We actually now, because we have all this information here, I can actually show the user, here's what that quote is going to be. So this is a real life document that it has information that the user's already given in. This information is up to date and accurate because it's calculated on the fly as needed. So we can build this up, look at maybe a cover letter. Let's close this document. Show what maybe a bill of material might look like. And then lastly, certainly I can ask for the customer information. And this information then can be stored in a database. So now you know who's been on your website. So certainly now this information can then go to your sales reps and say, hey, customer Jimmy, I saw you were on our website last night. You're looking at the hinged door trailer, only $47,000. What do you think? Are you interested? So user can put that contact information in here, or maybe even better, you can collect the user's email address, and then we can email him the quote and the acknowledgement and all the information that he might have requested. I've even sent out e-drawings so the user can actually see exactly what this looks like. I'll build this up as we go through. The other one I want to show you, let's go ahead and jump back to the configuremyproduct.com page. It's a little bit more of the same. Different types of cupboards. Let's go ahead and configure this one up. Different type of interfaces. So that, again, the interfaces are designed by you. What kind of things are going to be important to you as you're going through? What kind of questions do you need to be able to ask your users as we go through? Certainly we're going to choose a nice glossy choice here. And since I chose gloss, the interface gives me the ability to see exactly what I'm looking for here. Let's do a nice green one. And we can even have engineering decisions in here as well. And what I mean by that is, let's go ahead and we'll stick with the glass. Let's open up the doors, see what that might look like with the doors open. Don't need to choose any different types of knobs. Let's go back to the first page where we can choose a height. We can even have some intelligence about the height too. So if it's, let's imagine we had a rule that, hey, if this guy is over 900 millimeters, I want to have 2 shelves. What would it look like if I choose a smaller height? I want to choose 800. So it's going through recalculating. And now because it's 800, we have maybe a rule that says that, hey, we don't have enough room for 2 shelves. So now we have the ability to say, all right, anything less than 900, we can build this up with just 1 shelf inside. So here's the bottom, here's a nice little shelf and a divider. And your customers can see, oh, this is going to have the 1 shelf in there, so they can get a good feeling for how things might look as they go through. Cleared the end. I'm a customer. I'm now happy with the $236. We can give the user the ability to see this information right from here. And just like at the end, we can ask the user for some information. That information that can be emailed to them, stored in a database, so then later on you can understand who's been on your site, what they've been done. Now, in all these examples here so far, it's been just pure public, and you can set DriveWorks up to allow anybody in, or you can actually have a username and password at the beginning. So maybe you only wanted your suppliers to be able to get on. You didn't want everybody in public, or maybe suppliers could see some other types of projects that were currently maybe not yet ready for prime time. So we have a lot of flexibility about, depending on security, who can get into the system, what they can do once they're there, or is it just going to be open to the public like what you saw with these examples that I showed you here. So again, I'll stay here on the slide for a second if you want to write them down, driveworkslive.com or configuremyproduct.com. So just want to make sure that you thought of some of the other things that I like about the ability to have DriveWorks, having your customer involved in selecting the products online. How many times have you been in a store and the sales guy comes up and just bugs you, hey, can I help you? Can I help you? And sometimes that's good, right? If you know exactly what you want. But this gives you the ability to take care of your customers that are just, hey, no thanks, I'm just looking. Let them browse. Let them experiment on their own. Let them learn and understand your product. And if they learn and understand your product, there's a better chance they're going to buy from you than the next guy. Neither one of these examples had any at the bottom, but have you ever been on, like, say, Amazon, and you're buying something, and at the very bottom says, hey, customers that bought this have also liked. So it gives you some suggestive selling opportunities because you can customize what the interface looks like. And hey, I see you've chosen this particular cabinet. I'll tell you, a nice comfortable chair right next to it would look good, wouldn't it? So it gives you the ability to sell more product as you will. To meet more accurate quotes, and I think this one's huge, right? Because your quote should be very accurate because the files have already been designed in SolidWorks. You've already gone through all those different configurations. You know exactly what it takes to make that product. You know exactly the bill of material. And as long as your prices are up to date, your quote should be very accurate. And your delivery time should get better as well because it's already been designed. The product is already finished. It's ready to go. So now your engineering can take care of doing new and better things rather than just doing the old pack and go over and over again. Hey, I'm making a pack and go. Let's exactly like this product, except for I need to make it a little bit longer. I need to make it a little bit taller. Here's a bunch of new drawings. We got to push all that information back out. Again, what kind of information? So going to the first two examples, the Dell example and the Microsoft, that's not really a pack and go issue, but the other ones where you're always starting with an existing assembly and making copies of it over and over again, that's where DriveWorks really is nice as well because it can have the ability to take this boring pack and go tool out of your hands and let it all be automated.